Okay, joining me now is the owner of the computer store where the laptops were abandoned in the first place, John Paul McIsaac. Welcome. John, tell us, you listened to that very extensive interview. A lot of things were talked about. What's your assessment? What are your thoughts?
Well, I can only speak to the facts. And the facts are, I was hired to recover data. I recovered 300 gigabytes of data off of Hunter Biden's liquid damaged MacBook Pro. I proceeded to store that data on an external hard drive, and before the FBI confiscated that equipment, I made a copy. That 300 gigs was copied to a 500 gig hard drive that ultimately one of those copies ended up in the hands of Rudy Giuliani. From there, I don't really have a responsibility for the chain of custody, so I can't say what has happened or transpired to these drives that were created from that point on over the past year and a half. What I can say is that there's 300 gigs of data on a 500 gig drive leaves 200 gigs free. If there is, in fact, 450 gigs of data that has been newly discovered, that would basically mean that the drive needed to be 750 gigs or larger for a recovery of that magnitude to take place. And the drive that I shipped to Rudy Giuliani was 500 gigs. So there's 250 gigs that's coming from somewhere, and that concerns me.
Is it possible, is it possible you found 300 gigs on a 500 gig laptop, and that the 450 number represents the total found? So 300 is what you already found, and an additional 150, that's 450, still keeps him below the 500 threshold. He may have said there's 450 new, but maybe he meant 450 total. Is that possible?
That could be possible. The way that it's been described is the amount of contents. I believe I saw roughly around 40 to 50,000 emails. So the email count is considerably larger than what I originally saw, as well as the photo. The data doesn't line up. It really doesn't. And that's a concern. And even if it was data that was recovered off of deleted files or files no longer on the system, the way deleted files work, when you go to delete a file from your computer, in essence, you're telling the computer to forget that the file existed on that drive. The file is still technically there, so if you use the proper tools, you can go back and you can recover that data. The problem is I performed all my recovery on solid-state drives, and solid-state drives have a built-in technology that erases the drive once data is removed. So the probability of deleted files being recovered off of the 300 gigs that I recovered is very low, next to none.
Okay, John, what about the stuff you have? You have 300 gigs of data. You have a copy of it. We've seen pieces. I can clearly tell you I haven't seen 300 gigabytes worth of emails and other pictures and video from Hunter. What are you doing with it?
Well, I mean, obviously today I woke up and I decided that I wanted to make sure that if there is any questionable activity occurring on a copy of the drive that is supposed to originate from my possession, I want to make sure that nothing like that occurs. I can't, after everything I've been through, I'm not going to allow that to happen. Besides that, it's none of my business. I did what I had to do. I approached the authorities, I handed it over, then I approached the government, handed it over, tried to hand it over, and then ultimately I handed it over to the lawyer for the President of the United States. So I really haven't done anything personal with the drive outside of reference it for material that I've been working on personally or to defend myself.
Jack Maxey's in Switzerland. He's worried about retribution. Said black SUVs circled his house a couple of times after release. Are you concerned about your safety?
Well, I don't think I'm going to notice any black SUVs. I used to be concerned about afraid for my safety. Now I'm cautious, but I think the attacks that have already occurred on my character, as well as me through state and federal agencies, have been the outreach. I think nobody wants to really mess with me at this point in time because what can they do?
Yeah. John Paul McIsaac, welcome back to the show. And again, as this continues to unfold, we'll bring you back as well. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right.